Another tutorial on using Canva in the classroom. If you have not signed up already for Canva for Education, you can go ahead and look in the description and I will have all the links there for you. So let's get started. Okay, great. So now we're going to look at creating posters for our classroom, whether you want a virtual poster or if you want a poster that you can eventually use within your classroom when you go back face to face. Okay, or if you're doing hybrid learning and you want posters for your virtual classroom as well as your face-to-face classroom. All right. So most people would use an infographic design because it's longer, you can add pictures, as well as you can add headings and give a little description, but we're not using an infographic today. But that's a very good option for you to take a look at another time. All right. But today we're going to actually be creating posters. We're going to create a landscape poster and we're also going to create a portrait poster. In this case, the first thing I did was type in poster landscape because I wanted a blank poster that gave me the option of landscape. So you can look down and see there's a lot of options that you can use, but I like to build my posters from scratch. Okay, well, my classroom posters. So you would see that I already did a poster. And what we're going to go through exactly what I did. All right. So we're going to go ahead and create a new page. We don't want to duplicate because if we duplicate it, if we copy it, it's going to duplicate the page. So add a new page. What is the first thing I do? The first thing I do is go to elements and then I press grid. I like to press grid because especially when I'm using a photo, I'm able to easily drop the photo in the background. So we're going to go back to the photo and you'll see this is the background that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this photo into my background. After I've done that, I like to lock my background. So that is now locked. So no matter what happens, that's not going to move. All right. So that's now locked. The next option is I'm going to go ahead and drop in my Bitmoji. How do I do that? I go to the top and I go to my Bitmoji extension. And once that comes up, I'm going to type in the word pose. And so I'm going to look for a Bitmoji that's posing. All right. So we're going to go ahead and once I click that, notice it says right click and choose the image from the menu. So it tells you what to do. We're going to go ahead and right click. We're going to copy it. But we're not going to paste into Canva. We're going to use our shortcut Control V and it will paste the image in Canva. So we're just going to move her over. We'll adjust her shortly. Okay. And then you will see that I have the heading virtual classroom and then I have the rules for the classroom. In terms of the text, you can just press text and it will give you a lot of options. You can actually use any one of these to the top, or you can look for the options that you like to the bottom because they give you a lot. They have very fancy fonts now. Everyone who's been using Canva will know that these weren't here a few months ago. All right. But I'm going to be using this one here. So we're going to go ahead and press the option and you'll see it'll go directly into the design. This is grouped together. So what I want to do is ungroup it because I want to be able to manipulate the text separately. So the first thing I'm going to do is change this. I'm going to put virtual classroom. Okay. For the second option, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to put rules. All right. So you will notice to the top here, my virtual classroom is black and rules are red. All right. So virtual classroom rules. Let's take a look at the size. So that's 42.5. So we want to adjust this. So like I said, you can always pull the circle to adjust, but we know what size we want. So we're going to put in 42.5. Not 4.25, 42.5, and you press enter. So you will get the option. Now, you'll notice that they're stacked on top of one another. You're just going to go ahead and pull until it comes loose. Good. And so we're going to put this over here. Rules. Let's see what size rules is. Rules is 105. So we're going to go back to rules, click rules, and then we're going to go 105. So now I have my virtual classroom. I have rules. But note that rules is red. So we want to change the color of the word rules. So we're going to press the A with the text color. And you'll notice that there are a lot of options for you to select. And you can also go to this option here too, but we're going to press the red because we've used it before. So now we're going to lay out how we would like it to be. And notice there's a line that comes up while I'm moving this option. And the line actually is a ruler to help you to know that to place it either vertically or horizontally. So you'll notice that that's telling you that that is actually the middle of the page, but then the line shows you that it gives you in the middle of the letter. So I like how that looks. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Press shift and then press rules. So now I'm going to be able to move it as one. And I'm going to move that to the top of my board. Okay, great. Now I want to create the words, the actual rules. All right. So we notice that these are 33.9 AD hybrid. But before we go there, how do I actually create my text box from scratch? You have three options. You can select add a heading, add a subheading, a little bit of body text. So you can decide which one of those you would like to use in order to start writing your text. All right, so we're going to undo. We're going to move those. So if I wanted to start writing my text, I would make it a little bigger so I'd be able to see. And then I would type in my words, text goes here, more text. Okay, so just as an option, I want to show you what you can do here. You can either create bullet points or you can do numbers. All right, so we want to go ahead and highlight this, highlight it, bullet points, sorry. And then once you press enter, you'll notice that there'll be another bullet point. If you don't want bullet points anymore, you can go ahead and highlight it. You can put numbers, and then you'll notice it will automatically work for you. All right, so we don't want this anymore. We're going to go ahead and delete that. All right, so that's how you create your text. Let's bring that back. How do we change colors? We talked about that. You're going to go to text color, and then you're going to decide which color you would like to create. All right, that's where you would adjust it. All right, but we don't want this, so we're going to delete this. And in this case, because I've already set it up, I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So I'll do right click, copy, or I can press these three dots and I can copy it with the plus sign and it will duplicate it for me. Okay, I'm going to undo that, but I want to show you how the copy works. I'm going to go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to right click. You notice nothing is happening. What are we going to do? We're going to use our shortcut, Control D, and it places it right where you need it to be. All right, so I kind of like that better than the duplicate, because duplicate will place it in the last slide and then I have to move it and try to position it. So all I really have to do now is position my heading. Let me move it over. Okay, wow, that's where I want that. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and adjust my Bitmoji. I like to crop around it because it comes up with a lot of space. And when I'm maneuvering the size, I like my space to be a little smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and enlarge the Bitmoji, bring it down a bit. And then there we go. That's how you create your poster, landscape poster in Bitmoji. All right. So now let's move on to a portrait. Now I've already created one. And as you know, this saves automatically, so you don't have to press. Let's move on to creating your poster in portrait form. All right, so you'll see that I've already done one here for you. How did I do this? Let's go ahead and get into that. So we're going to do a new page. We're not going to copy the page because, once again, we don't want the same image, right? So we're going to go, we want the same image, but we just want to know how to make it. So add a new page. You have to be very careful of the dimensions of your page. If you have a portrait page and you put a landscape picture, you're going to lose a lot of the picture. So let's say the first thing we want to do is put a grid. You know, as I always put a grid. All right. So if we go ahead and we use a portrait, a landscape picture, you're going to lose a lot of the picture. So it really doesn't make any sense using that one. So you have to ensure that you're using a landscape picture with a landscape background. So we're going to go ahead and pull this image into the grid, and then we're going to go ahead and lock it. All right. So once it's locked, we want to ensure that we have a heading for our poster. And like I said, you can use this in your virtual classroom or your regular classrooms. You can create your own posters and have them printed and put them up in your classroom. All right. You just can use your favorite printer and you're done. Text. Now, you know, I like using a particular text. So we're going to go and we're going to look for it. There we go. A gift for you. All right. So we're going to move this up. Ungroup. Remember, I like to ungroup. And then we would type in virtual classroom and virtual rules. And in this case, virtual classroom is 69.7, virtual rules is 327. All right. We're not going to type both of them again because we did the example in the earlier part of this. What's going to happen is we're going to practice our copying and pasting. So we're going to right click and copy. And then we're going to go back to the second slide, and then we're going to use Control V. And you'll notice it's in the correct place. Okay. The same thing I taught you, you just have to adjust. If you want to adjust the size of each one, you can type in the new size here. And you click the other one and you type in a new size. Okay, that's 200. And you'll see it will change. Okay, we don't want that 200. We want to go back where it was. And remember, this is your undo and your redo. All right, how did we create the red in the background? We simply went to Elements. Let's go to the page and make sure we're working on the right page. Elements, and then I used a square. And with the square, you take the square and you're going to pull the square exactly how you would want it to be. You adjust your square, adjust your size. Make your adjustments. All right. And remember, we would go to text, and then we would decide which one of these we would like to use. If you don't want to use those, then you can use what's up here. So press add a heading. And remember, you would put text goes here. We're just using it as an example. Text goes here, and then you can adjust it by pulling out to the side. You can adjust the size by pulling the circle or by going to the top. All right. You can, what is there? Text goes here. More text. X again. X. All right. And so that's how you would put your text there. Remember, we said we can adjust the text by pulling the circle and adjusting it by typing in the size. But what if we want to adjust the font that we are using? We would simply select the font that is there now. All right. So let's use Over the Rainbow. You'll see how Over the Rainbow looks. Railway, racing. All right, so you would make a decision on which one you would like to use. So we're going to go ahead and delete this. And because we already have this here, I'm going to go ahead and copy the text, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. And then we'll play with some of the fonts so you can see the difference. Let's use the racing font. You might like that one, Over the Rainbow. So it gives you options on exactly what you can do. So I kind of like the Racing Sans one. So we're going to go ahead and leave that there, and you'll see the difference in the two. And if you want to view how it looks, you can press the two arrows that are going opposite to each other, and it will show you how it looks at 100%. Okay. So that's the first one I did, and here's the second. And the only difference is they have different fonts. And then to remind you how to download, we would either share it if you like, or you can download it as any one of these options. And then you can always change and the name that it's saved as at the top. So we will put classroom. Well, we could put virtual classroom rules. Classroom rules. And then that's it. Everything is automatically saved, so you don't have to do that. And you can go over here. I have it as rules. All right, so let's look at this at 100% so you can see what it would look like to the students. All right, so that's what it would look like to the students. So that ends our tutorial on creating your own posters. Remember, you can create these and put these in your virtual classroom, or you can create them and print them out and put them up in your face-to-face classroom. Join us on our next tutorial. Have a good day.